have a nightcap, darling.
Strange, it's empty.
I'll get another bottle. Be a dear and get some glasses.
You know, I love you in that blonde wig. Makes you look like a harlot.
I, Jonathan David Posey, being of sound and disposing mind and memory, do hereby freely declare this to be my last will and testament. Jonathan was quite specific in his bequest to you. Fact is, he's left you his entire estate.
Everything?
Lillian Posey has many names and one ambition: to outlive all her rich husbands. But Lillian doesn't know that her next bequest will include the dead man's gun.
It's beautiful.
In the American West, a gun touched by evil passed from hand to hand, changing the lives of all who possessed it. Its origin unknown, its dark legend grew, till it came to be known as the dead man's gun.
Mansfield. State stops for 10 minutes. This is your stop, ma'am. Watch your step now.
This will be your room. And, what did you say your name was, Mrs.?
I don't believe I did. Tanya. Tanya Winston.
Yeah, I hope your stay with us is entirely uneventful.
That, I'm afraid, is in the hand of God.
Well, I'm at your service, madam.
Good day. Good deal. No, thank you.
May I help you, madam?
Perhaps. Your collection is very unusual. There's a quality.
You have a discerning eye. I merely collect those rare gems that attract me and hold my attention.
Well, your passion has led you many places, judging by the depth and variety of your tastes.
When I want something, I'll move heaven and earth to acquire it.
Really? What if the thing you desire is somehow unavailable? Have you never been outbid?
Is this something worthy of my unceasing efforts?
Say, for argument's sake, that its luster and beauty are beyond compare.
Then I would not rest until I possessed it.
And if the price were too high?
How can it be? It's so extraordinary.
You seem so sure in your judgments. What is your opinion of this?
An opal. South African. And quite astonishing.
May I look?
What do you see?
I see small curls that look like flames.
There's a special term for it. Fire touched.
Is it rare?
I've never seen anything like it.
That was my feeling, too.
When I glanced at you sitting on the bench, I was so glad you followed me here.
How dare you be so presumptuous?
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
I came here for an innocent purpose, and you have taken vile advantage.
Dear lady, I apologize. It's been some time since I've encountered such evident beauty. Not since my wife's passing. I was carried away by it. By you.
I too have lost someone dear. I can appreciate your circumstance. I would look kindly upon you if you'd appreciate mine.
I cannot forgive myself for hurting you. I hope, dear lady, that you will not find this gesture too presumptuous. Yours respectfully, Sanford Hogan.
Got him.
He that enter into this covenant without a pure and simple heart, for lust, for betterment, on the wicked path of Satan, may the Lord strike him down, and may fear be brought into his heart. And now I pronounce you man and wife.
Well done.
It's a first-rate opportunity to be
What's all
married
this?
with impunity.
Surprise, surprise.
Simplicity of unbounded domesticity.
We have missed our opportunity of escaping with impunity. So farewell to the felicity of our maiden domesticity. We shall quickly be personified.
Conjugally matrimonified.
A doctor of divinity in this vicinity.
What do you see what I've got planned for our honeymoon?
Honeymoon? I get a honeymoon, too? This is the honeymoon?
Put this thing down, Sanford. I am not having a good time.
All fear is the fear of death, dear Tanya. Takes you to the very core of your being, to the very heart of passion.
For God's sakes, don't let go.
Never. I love you, Tanya. strange question.
You are not like any man I have known.
Perhaps I'm a thief, come to steal your heart.
Well, I warn you, I'm quite capable of defending myself.
Oh, the best kind of pluck away. Who am I? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler to admit my weak personal shortcomings. The fact is, I rest on Tuesdays and play cards on Sabbath.
Tell me about her.
Sweet Tanya, our lives begin now. Everything that happened before doesn't matter.
I know. But still, what was she like?
She was a teacher. Every man needs a woman to teach him.
Was her death very unexpected?
Yes. It was tragic. And you? Tell me about your husband. Tell me all the reasons I have to be jealous of him.
He was a wonderful, kind, generous man. And one night his heart just gave out. I suppose it was my fault. I think I loved him too much. His heart just couldn't stand the strain. Oh, careful, you'll drop me.
Bridegroom's prerogative.
Oh, this house is lovely. You are too generous, Mr. Hogan.
I know how you abhor excess. Please forgive me, Mrs. Hogan. I have a special surprise for you.
Special.
Another surprise. Oh, okay, enough. Put me down. Birds.
Mm-hmm.
Two teeny little birds. Are they very valuable?
The lovebirds. They're us, my jam.
That's me. They're too much fuss and bother.
And on that charming note, I'd like you to meet Mrs. Rawson. Mrs. Rawson, this is my lovely new bride. Mrs. Rawson will be helping you around the house, dear.
Oh, darling, I wish you would have mentioned something.
You can thank me later. After the wash, the canning, the cleaning, the cooking, the sewing, and tending to your flock of children. Assuming, of course.
We wouldn't want you to overtax your delicate nature with senseless tasks, would we, dear? Mm-hmm. And after a while, you'll find that Mrs. Rawson is part of the family. She has a way.
Come on. I'll show you all the extravagances. Upstairs, we have your overstuffed bed parlor, your needlessly fancy bathtub, and your overpriced whatnot.
Have you worked for Mr. Hogan before?
I've lived here for years. Outside, there's wicked men wanting to tear off your unmentionables and gut you before they eat you.
Did you work for him before or after he was married?
Is this the Spanish Inquisition?
I'm just trying to get to know you better. What's in there?
The attic. Only Mr. Hogan has the key. So many questions, madam.
Well, now that you two happy people have tie the knot. It's time to trim sails and set a new course, financially speaking.
Mr. Quinn was in the Navy.
In plain terms, Sanford, a consolidation of your fiscal accounts would seem practical at this time.
Of course. I want Tanya to have full access to all my funds.
I couldn't ask that, darling. All of your business and personal accounts.
I insist. I want you to. You're my wife. Besides, she'll need money for shopping and all those little things that ladies need.
If you just put your John Hancock here, here, and here, everything will be legal and above board. And you, Mrs. Hogan, I assume you'll be consolidating your own accounts? By that, of course, I mean a co-mingling or joining together of your funds with those of Mr. Hogan's. Or stocks, bonds, whatever you might have by way of investments.
Of course. Unfortunately, most of my accounts are out of state.
As is much of our business. But I would be more than happy to arrange a wire transfer for you.
I would hate to put you through the trouble.
Darling, if there's a problem, I completely understand.
No, there is no problem.
Excellent. Well, I'll get the paperwork in order. Well, now that you've taken care of the finer details, may you have a long and happy life together.
Tanya, in the event of my passing, all of mine is yours.
And vice versa, of course.
Shop. Back shortly.
Take all the time you need, dearest. The honeymoon is now over. Breathe deeply, my love.
Think of it, Sanford. There, in the wilds of Brazil, a cave encrusted with emeralds the size of your fist.
If this report is true, it could be worth a fortune.
Oh, it's true. My source is impeccable. Have I ever steered you wrong before?
How many others know about this?
At the moment, a handful. So if you work without delay, you can claim the lion's share.
Acres of Brazilian emeralds. The finest in the world. Well, for God's sake, what are we waiting for?
Oh, there's a problem. And unfortunately, it's not a small one. You see, the upfront money is considerable, and your ready assets are not sufficient.
Well, there must be something I
was about to add. You may not have the funds, but with your wife's total worth thrown in, jewelry, stocks, bonds, that would be enough.
I tell you, my sweet, the more money we invest, the bigger the windfall. There are thousands, literally thousands to be made.
I don't know. It sounds like a considerable gamble.
It isn't, trust me. The only question is, How rich will we eventually be?
It's not as if we're paupers now, darling.
Oh, that's nothing compared to what this will bring. Trips to London and Paris, the finest restaurants, the best hotels. We can move to New York if you like. We can move anywhere, do anything your little heart desires.
It's tempting. But to throw my jewelry, my stocks and bonds and everything to a mysterious pot?
It's only temporary. Everything of mine is yours. What's to worry? Have I ever lied to you before? Surprise?
Utterly. Whatever have you done, darling?
I moved my office upstairs and yours in here.
Oh, whatever for?
Well, I found the light better upstairs and, well, I hope you don't mind. Unfortunately, though, I've made a rather distressing discovery.
Darling, I can explain everything.
Poor things were more attached to their surroundings than I realized.
Oh, yes. Shame. I loved it for you, darling. For me, they're a wee bit masculine.
Good morning, darling.
I see you found my precious heirloom.
It was in the bureau, quite by happenstance. Couldn't help but be taken by it. Careful, darling. It's fully loaded.
Oh. Wouldn't want an accident.
Are you all right? Your voice sounds a trifle odd.
No. It's just it's an emotional subject. It was a bequest from my late husband.
Strange legacy for a gentleman.
I was a woman alone. You understand. This is difficult for me.
My poor sweet Tanya. Dearest, have you seen my last week's invoices?
What, darling?
I brought them home to work on them.
Well, have you checked the library?
I looked everywhere.
Well, oh. Weren't you perusing them last night in the sitting room?
Oh, I forgot. Thank you.
I'll go get them.
Don't bother. They can wait.
It's no bother. I'll have to go downstairs.
Tanya!
Oh, my God.
Mrs. Rawson.
She walks these stairs all the time. How could she have fallen? If you knew what went through my head, that could have been you. What happened?
towards the staircase, and she offered to get the invoices instead, and I let her.
It's okay. I'm here. My poor angel. But how could she have fallen?
I will miss her so. Dear Mrs. Rawson. Her neck was quite broken.
At least the end was mercifully quick.
Well, that should prove comforting to her relatives. I know how trying this has all been, especially for you, Mr. Hogan.
I'd grown quite fond of her over time.
And first to lose one wife, and then the second in such short order. Why, it's enough to turn a man bitter.
I have my faith, Sheriff. And my lovely Tanya. That's what sustains me.
How did your wives die? I seem to recall they were both accidents.
I don't think we need to go into this now.
No. The sheriff has a right to ask. Nancy died in a horseback riding accident. And poor Eleanor fell down a cistern.
And now Miss Rawson's awful tumble down the stairs. If I were you, I'd sell this place. There's just too many bad memories.
Tanya? What are you doing here?
I couldn't sleep.
What have you got there? Behind your back.
It's a surprise.
Another surprise? How thoughtful. But I'm afraid I found you out. My scrapbook. What are you thinking? How about, why would you keep such a book?
You bought the chest and were amazed to find it was in there.
No, I didn't. You look frightened. You think I know these poor women?
It's the farthest thing from my mind.
Well, I did. One of them, at least. We were quite close. She was strangled in bed. You think I murdered her, don't you?
Plenty of people keep scrapbooks. Small children, even.
In this book, she lives forever. Time does not rob her of her beauty.
Some people would call that slightly mad.
Would they? I keep it close in remembrance of her. You think I'm the Merry Widow killer, don't you?
Of course not. Why would I?
Because, my dear, knowing that you killed Mrs. Rawson, as I believe we've both just discovered,
It takes one to know one. You know, the loneliness, that is the hardest part. That is what nobody understands. And you?
The funerals, after a while, it gets downright expensive.
Have you ever heard of a rigged pitchfork? A simple farm tool can be quite deadly.
Or, I understand that a razor can cut through a horse's cinch and be practically undetectable.
The rumors, wait. What about the rumors of the exploding bed?
Or exploding kerosene log. Light a romantic fire and you get more than you bargained for.
Oh, I guess that would answer the question. Open casket or closed? Closed.
Rodents. I've got a problem with large... I've got a problem with large, hairy rodents.
I sell medicine for headaches, cure for rheumatism. They got headaches, they got rheumatism.
Okay. You see, my problem is that the usual mousetraps and poisons, they don't work. These ones are much too clever.
Amanita, Pantherina. How perfectly delightful.
Let me see. I got castor oil for little ones, mandrake roots for big ones. Where you say they live?
I think they nest in the attic. Perhaps the best thing is to simply destroy the building?
Maybe, huh? Start all over. Wait.
What's this?
Whatever you do, don't shake it up.
felicity for maiden domesticity. So farewell to the felicity of maiden domesticity. What's this?
Wire came in this afternoon. Read it.
They found them.
We're rich. Rich beyond our wildest dreams.
Oh, Sanford. Oh.
Just in case you need proof. A preliminary find that came in yesterday. A taste of what's to come.
It's
rare, as you are.
Let's eat first, shall we? As a special treat, I recommend the champignons de Paris.
Mushrooms. They smell delicious.
Everything all right?
How rude of me. Ladies first.
Darling, I made them for you. And I insist.
I'm sorry, my jewel.
What now?
I've almost forgotten that. They give me the most acute dyspepsia.
Yes, well, not these. These are in a special sauce, and if you don't eat them quickly. Delicious.
Quite. A toast to our undying love. My darling, you're far too smart and dangerous to trifle with. It's time for our love affair to end.
Sanford, what are you doing?
Just what seems to come natural. You understand. Someone broke into the house, stole the jewelry, and shot you with your own gun. How appropriate.
Wait. When you said you loved me, tell me, did you ever mean it?
Of course I did. You're my precious jewel.
You can have the emeralds. You can have it all.
I already do.
You're going to miss me. You know you will. We're alike, the two of us.
I know.
I do so like to be the first to say goodbye.
But the mushrooms. I saw you eat them.
The mushrooms weren't poisonous. Unless, of course, taken with wine. Goodbye, my darling. Poor Sanford. You were so beautiful. I really don't know what happened, Sheriff. We had a light dinner and a glass of wine. I went to bed early, and when I woke up, there he was. It was all so unexpected. We were the perfect couple. Good night, dear Sanford. I do miss you.
Dearest Tanya, if you're in bed, darling, and I'm not, you'll only have time to read this. Love eternally, Sanford.
The Black Widow and the Merry Widow Killer. What are the chances? A match made in heaven, hell, or perhaps by the dead man's gun.